Do you remember those old Spongebob cartoons, which some of us used to watch in 1999 from Season 1? Well, recently a secret episode has been discovered from that time period. So, the other day, I was searching through my computer when I came across a notepad document, deep within System 32. Having no idea how it got there, I scanned it for viruses. It had one Trojan in it. Perfect. I deleted it and opened it up, and all that was printed was one website link, followed by the following gibberish, a bunch of letters and numbers. Having not a single clue what it meant, I continued putting in the site link, which, no, I won't tell you in case anyone out there is freaking stupid enough to try it, into my web browser. It took me to a site where there was a black background and a huge button. It had the same text on it that was in the notepad document. I clicked it, and it brought up a download link. The file wanted to be downloaded was called Spongecry.avi. And as crazy as I am, I went ahead and downloaded it. That was a big mistake. Because the second the download finished, which was 4.6 megabytes, my computer made the weirdest sound ever, and promptly decided to turn itself off. As I tried to reboot it, nothing happened. The file must have destroyed my computer. And as upset as I was, I realized that I was on my old PC. So I hopped over on my Mac and re-downloaded it. This time, no problem. What was downloaded was, of course, the single AVI file. And I played it. The movie clip was 6 minutes and 4 seconds long. It started out as any SpongeBob episode would, except the color was distorted. And when he got to playing the flute with his nose, it immediately went to the title screen. And all that was on the title screen were the following words: SpongeBob Cry. Only there wasn't any jaunty music like there usually was. It lasted about 2.5 seconds. Didn't show who the writers and directors were. I just assumed that whoever put it online had edited it for time or something. Well, the episode started out inside SpongeBob's house. It showed SpongeBob sitting in his red chair. Strange thing was, all the other furniture was gone. And he was crying. Very hard. Didn't sound anything like it does when SpongeBob normally cries. Sounded like a real human cry, but it was different still. It sounded so real and intense. I mean, SpongeBob was absolutely bawling. He was ripping chunks out of the chair. The camera zoomed in really close on his face, but it's the kind of zoom as if it was being videotaped by a real person. The camera zoomed out to show a rotting corpse of Gary laying on the floor in front of him. It was incredibly disturbing. I mean, Gary was absolutely mauled to death. His eyes were laying on the floor. His shell was cracked to reveal a very gross image of the insides of Gary, which looked a whole lot more like what would have really happened in the episode where Gary loses his shell. The camera was moving around like crazy. SpongeBob suddenly got out of his chair and ran. He ran straight forward. Then the episode stops moving for about 1 second, goes black for about 2 seconds, and it comes back with SpongeBob's face pressed against the camera, with his mouth exploded open and his eyes black, and a deafeningly loud scream. I jolt up and turn my volume down, and then the camera starts moving around like it was in an earthquake. I mean, you can't even tell what's going on. It's worse than anything I've ever seen. The clip then goes to black for 1 minute and 38 seconds. It comes back, inside the Krusty Krab, and it was dead. Silent. All of a sudden, the same face that was pressed against the camera appears. But this time, the scream was literally deafeningly loud. It only lasted for about 1/4 of a second. And then for the rest of the episode, it goes back to SpongeBob crying in the chair. But after every 10 seconds, SpongeBob gets just a little bit more decayed. And the sound gets a little bit more distorted. And by the end, all that's left is static and screaming. You can then see SpongeBob running again in the background of this static. But for the last 4 seconds, there is text on the screen that can barely be read as, "One-timed action will be badly." Exactly that, as if it was written by a 5-year-old, all jumbled. After the clip finished, my computer turned off by an unknown force. And after seeing this video, I have never been the same. I've been more sad and more uncomfortable than ever before. It's haunted my mind all the time. I regret downloading the video in the first place. I wish I could just go back in time